right, here we go. So let's do our topics first. How class works. It's your class. This is stuff for you. If you go through the month and you're thinking, I have these questions, just these little annoying questions, they're for class. You can email us. You can email Crystal. You can email Israel. By the way, Israel, would you put our email and 800 number in the chat, please?
Yes, I will.
You are not alone with these things. You don't have to go Googling for 7 hours. You can call us or we can present it in class. The next thing that I want to tell you is that if we're going over things in class, so this is your class, your annoying tech life, those little buggy things to those big things, we are here for you and we can resolve them. So write them down, get it to us and call us. And going through class, you don't have to follow us in real time. You'll get a copy of this video. You'll be able to contact us as we teach you different things, as you learn the real power of your smartphone, of your computer, of your Wi-Fi, and really what you pay for every month. You don't have to be clicking and trying to keep up. Matter of fact, I think it'd be better to watch, absorb, and see if it's for you, and then go through these steps. That being said, let's talk about our big topics of the day. The big requested topic, it is summertime. You're gonna be at the beach, you're gonna be at the pool, you're gonna take great family photos and videos, and then you're gonna wanna send them to somebody.
Yes.
And you're gonna go and you're gonna put them in your email and it's gonna say file is too large.
Yeah.
You just can't get rid of them. We're gonna teach you how to use Google Photos and Google Drive, which is a great large product, to send those for free in a link. So you can make an album, put all your movies and videos in there. It could be, you know, Tahoe, July 2022. Put them in one album and then share that universally with anyone. It doesn't take much time. It doesn't cost much any money at all. And it certainly doesn't clog up people's computers. Hold on one second. I think that's Ben. I'm going to mute Ben right here. Okay, I think I got him. It's like fishing. And next up over here, cheap home security cams. You know those home security cams, the Ring cameras? You know, you can get them for 20 bucks. They're not expensive. You can get, I'm going to look at you for a moment, and a simple home cam for $19.99 from Staples or Best Buy, and connect it in your app and point it to your door, or point it towards the door between the bathroom and the bedroom, like if you're watching someone. In my case, I bought it because I've got an 18-year-old cat, and I set it up and it stares at the cat. Like, you know, I can go on there and check on my 18-year-old cat. That's really, it's not, my mom's case is different. We do have one in my mom's, but I guess the point of this and when I'm bringing that up is that it's $20. They have really gone down in cost. So if you have any security concerns, if you have anybody you're looking after, if you just want to set one of these up and point it, like I said, in an innocuous way in your home, so you can just tell, you know, in that one area, if anything's moved, we'll guide you through those. And it's all done on your phone, which means once you set it up on your phone, you could be around the world and just take a quick peek and check on that. So yeah, of all the tech that has gone up in price, this one has come down, interestingly enough. I have my theories on why, but if you want to give somebody permission to take a picture of inside your house, they're going to make it cheaper, I think. Let's move on. Forwarding emails. This came from Sally. Are you here, Sally?
I'm here, but I don't see my, there I am. Okay.
This one came from Sally and it's a good one. How do you forward emails? So let's say you are using a Yahoo account and you're AOLer. Like, let's say for years you were working for the city and the city provided you with an email. So you never saw the need to update your personal email. You kept the old Hotmail or the old sbcglobal.net, or my favorite old LA one is ca.rr.com. You know, some of those vintage ones. It just wasn't necessary. They worked fine, but now they're degraded. They don't work as well. And by the way, how can you tell if your email suffix needs to be updated? Here's a funny little trick. So if your email address is, hold on a second, let me make a full screen. I like to pick on Irene Garcia. I'm going to pick it. So let's see, Irene Garcia's she's got Irene Garcia at prodigy.net, which is like one of the first ones. Like, let's say that. And the goal, how do you know? Like, Yahoo's still good. You can still live with Yahoo, even AOL. You don't have to feel that tizzy. But if you have SBC Global, if you can't get a new email under that name, if you can't go to sbcglobal.net and say, hey, I want to see if Irene Garcia 123 is available, then it's not a legitimate email anymore. It means it's legitimate, but it's winding down in its use life. But if you can go to Google and order a new Gmail, or go to Yahoo and order a new Yahoo, or AOL, or whatever's left out there, it's a diminishing market. Then I think that's a good test for yourself. Is my email suffix, am I allowed to get a new email under my suffix? Yes? Okay, I think I'll take my summer and enjoy it as opposed to update my email. No, it's something for the list, it's for the tech hygiene list.
So
Okay.
question,
Yeah.
since those emails are all ancient and we try to email someone, will they not receive it? Or will we not receive a reply?
It's the thing about those old emails is that probably could still work, which is you want to get a message out and message in, but they're so spammy and buggy. Imagine the department. Hey, Carmen.
Oh, hold on.
No,
I
we're just
hear
gonna take a
you.
moment, say hi to one of our heroes, Carmen Hawkins.
Okay, where am I? Oh, can you hear me?
We
Hi
can hear
there.
you. Where are you, Carmen? A little break. Where is Carmen today?
In Catalina Island.
Oh, my God.
Hey, Carmen. He can hear you clearly.
Hi, Carmen.
Yeah.
Carmen's in Catalina
Hello.
Island.
Wow, how nice.
Yeah. And so for anybody who's on here that was looking for the cooking class yesterday, you guys forgot I was on the cruise, but we will have the cooking class next Tuesday at 3 o'clock. So, and I'll be sending you some recipes from my cruise that we'll cook. So now you can go back to
No, but
computer.
Carmen,
I miss you guys.
when you get stable, don't fall into the Pacific, but maybe put it in the chat. Tomorrow's cooking
Okay.
class, so people can watch it.
No,
throughout.
next Tuesday. I'll put I'll put it
Next
in the
Tuesday.
chat. Okay.
You look awesome,
All
Carmen.
right.
Enjoy. Go catch us a
All
salmon
right.
or something.
Good thing.
Okay, so
Okay.
hang in there,
Bye.
Carmen. We love you. Thank you for
Okay.
coming. So
Love you
now,
guys too.
let's talk about those emails. They're not necessarily bad emails, but they're spammy and they're buggy, and they're nothing you want if you're indisposed. Like it's okay now if you're living your life and you can track down something, but what if you're, heaven forbid, you can't work with it. So these are good moments to begin to think about upgrading. And we'll talk more about that. Something you could do if you want to migrate to Google, which, just like it or not, I mean, it's a monopoly. It just sort of is. Nobody produces and gives what they give. Photos, drives, docs, all those wonderful things. Then this would be a good time to think about moving that. The question that Sally had was, can I go into my Yahoo account? We use Yahoo as an example, and have those emails automatically forwarded to, let's say, my new Gmail account. So I email O'Connor at yahoo.com, and that bingo goes over to her new O'Connor at gmail.com. Yes, you can. AOL has that capability. Yahoo has that capability. Google has that capability. Here's the rub, and here's where you should think about it. If you want to use that capability in Yahoo, they charge you. Those companies have become all totally monetized. So yes, please go ahead, Sally.
My question actually was, because I'm with Comcast, and thanks to you, I now have a Gmail account. Will Comcast, without charging me, let me dump things into my Gmail?
So I looked up Comcast. I went online when you asked that question, because these used to be all free natural services. So if you have a Google account, you can forward you can forward Sally King at gmail.com to me for the month you're on the cruise, or whatever the case. You have that free capability. But Yahoo charges and AOL charges. Spectrum, I couldn't find any information about. So we would have to go and look and say, does Spectrum email have the ability to forward? And is it free?
Well, it's Comcast, Xfinity.
Yeah, but I think it's Comcast is the same mother company of Xfinity and Spectrum and all those. Those are the big. So you'd have to find out if the Sally King at spectrum.com email, which would be at spectrum.com, that's called the suffix of your email, if that has the forwarding capability. It's a really good tool. It was better 10 years ago when people used emails more, and we'll talk about all that in a moment. But those are tools that are capable in Gmail, and I can show you it's easy to forward it. It's easy to forward it to 5 people. I can disperse it and send my email to my brother and my accountant and my wife, whoever, in any way, in direction wants to go. I could say, Israel, I'm forwarding you. I got you. I'll be right there, Royce. I'm forwarding you all the job emails that come in. So one email just goes to Israel, so he can look at that all day. Royce, you had a question?
Well, I'm in the process of moving from AOL to Gmail, and notwithstanding the cost issue, which I didn't know about till just now,
Mhm.
I have been reluctant to want to forward all my AOL because I get lots of junk in AOL, tons of junk, and I don't have the junk in Gmail. So I am finding it better to just,
Yeah, that makes
tell
sense.
people, like you suggested last time, I'm moving some of my financial stuff to Gmail and I'm
Mhm.
telling my friends to use my Gmail, but I don't want to forward all the other crap. And so over time, I'll probably stop using AOL, but it'll just be more of a kind
Absolutely.
of a long-term thing so that I don't, I get tons of, junk from them.
That's very smart. You definitely don't want to port over stuff you don't want. When
Right. So,
you start over a new fresh email, and we'll get more into this in a moment. I want to go over the agenda a little more, but I'm going to give you this one tip right now. So you've been brave and you've created your new email, and it's now let me look for a name I haven't seen before. Peggy Buck, I sent you a shirt. Did you receive it? I see Sylvia Santos Manalang. So Sylvia Santos Manalang makes a new email at sylviasantos@gmail.com. The first things to do, the most important way to cull and begin to clean out that closet is to go to your important accounts. That would be LADWP or wherever you're located, or that would be Blue Cross or Spectrum or Cox.net or any of your main monthly credit cards, things of that nature. Sign into that account, go to these settings and update your email. You'll probably have maybe an old email you put in there when you started the account. Well, now that means all the new emails are going to, or the new emails from these important monthly accounts that you need, not Aunt Jane, that you have to get her over to your new Gmail. That will now be in your new Gmail. And that's a good paper list to have. And by the way, when you're doing that and you're in those settings, change the password to that account. You're going to be there. You're going to be in the neighborhood. But getting back to the email, create a new fresh email for yourself if you feel as though it's time. And then the first people you contact are your important accounts where you don't want to miss any of those emails. All right, we're going to push forward because we're going to get into this in a second. We're still on the topics here. So here we go. Working with PDFs. Oh my God, who knows what a PDF is? That universal document you get that you can't write on. Right? Somebody sends it to you, they said, sign your name and return it. But you click everywhere. It's not like a Word document, you can't return it. And then what people do is they go on the line and they try to find these free PDF writers. And they're junk, they're usually scams. So what a PDF is, a universal document. And what that means is a company called Adobe, I think you might have heard of Adobe, pretty big computer company, they write software, created a document that works on Apple and Windows computers. They mix. It used to be not. Remember, somebody would send you a Word document on Apple in the old days and you couldn't read it. You had to find some way to read that document. So now Adobe made this third-party piece of paper that goes anywhere. However, the only way to honestly edit it is with an Adobe product called Adobe Reader BC. And we'll talk more about that. And I'll show you how it works. It's really a manipulative thing because it's about $14 a month. It's not cheap. But for all of those people, and probably one of the biggest calls I get from the Lacers folks, or retirees and non-retirees, like people getting ready to go there, is how do I sign this and return it? I downloaded it from the email that was sent. I'm clicking my mouse everywhere. I can't get the pointer in there to write down 123 ABC Street, number 1. And then Culver City, California, 90230. How do you edit those? Well, one cheat is you can print those, handwrite them, copy them, and return them. Or if you want to be a little more pro and you want to have those abilities, we'll talk to you about how to fill those out in a PDF reader. Now, here's a little hint. If you're in a business and I'm sending Simbre document to fill out, I do have the ability to send you that document, Simbre, till you fill it out. So you receive it, you put your mouse over that little button, all of a sudden you see a little block open, you just type in the information and then you can save it. But not everybody has those. So we'll talk about PDFs as well as creating a PDF. Anybody can create a PDF right from your computer, whether it's a Word, whether it's Docs, or whether it's Apple Pages. A PDF is easy to make, but to alter, that's where they figured out the game. They brought you halfway down the road, Adobe, and then they stepped you there and they said, well, go any further, it's $14 a month. But it's something we all deal with and something we should understand. And not, it's one of those things too, people go 2 days trying to fill a document out that just you can't do. So it's one of those tech headaches that you can pause and say, this one's not going to work, let's find a solution. I'll find those in a lot of tech. There's things that you'll beat your head over and in the end, you did nothing wrong. This is how it works or doesn't work. All right, moving on to the next subject. Oh, our famous scam busters. There are some huge ones out here. A matter of fact, they're so clever. I don't know how I did this. I'm always preaching to you like a big mouth over here. Don't answer the emails. Read them. Don't click anything in there. Don't take the bait. Don't be fished. Don't have them put a gummy worm on the hook and then you come up and you're biting that gummy worm. Don't do that because they'll end up what happened to me. I was the other day in my rush of excitement. I was organizing our small business here. I got a new credit card, a new business credit card. I was like, yay, how great is this? I'm going to separate some accounts, everything's going to be better now because I have a new credit card. You know how that is. You get something new and you're going to start organizing your whole life. It's going to be great. So I did all that. Didn't think, 7 minutes later, I got an email and it said from American Express Business Blue Card, set up your rewards program. I clicked that thing. I put my email and my password and I clicked enter. And thank God it was from American Express because it could very well have not been. When American Express signs you up to their account or anything for that matter, they have partners. You'll see that in the privacy section. That means so when you give your email, when Novella decides, hey, I'm going to go get myself a Home Depot card for do the kitchen because I get 30% discount, on the first purchase. Those are always sort of deals out there. And that means you give up your email, they sell it immediately. Like within seconds, they're selling your email. They're making money of you before you even use the credit card or the line of credit. So that email could have been a junk email and I would have within a minute frauded into my beautiful new American Express Blue Card. It's so shiny. It's so blue. It's going to lift me into the blue heavens of peacefulness, financial. I love the way they market, right? Blue clouds and skies from American Express. Everything's happy now with your Blue Card. Well, I almost got unhappy real fast in there. So and I'm the preacher and I'm the one that receives the calls all day of people that are not getting the money back, after they do that. So yeah, vulnerable is the key word here. We are all vulnerable as not the click. So we're going to talk about some scam busting. And then hear your device more clearly. I have over here, I'll show you some earbuds. You can get wireless or wired. Let's be honest, the speakers they put in these devices are not the best. I'm looking at Nita Barnes. Nice to see you, Nita. You're looking at it like you're smiling. I got you there, Nita. I see you, but if you're looking at a computer, there's really a teeny little speaker coming out of there. It's not like your television. It's not like even your car. When you listen to the radio, where there's a speaker in the right door, in the left door, in the back seat, whether you're getting some sound, you're getting this teeny little thing, and then you're leaning in, and then you're stressing it. You're trying to separate the syllables. It's how the mind works. The low tones come from the high tones. So how do you improve that? As well, right now I don't have a headset on because the sound's not great on this. If I'm using a proper headset, not only can I hear you better, nobody can hear what you're saying coming to me. You're private. So right now you could be alone in the house, but let's say there's somebody in the background. There's something. So it's a good thing. And there's some, again, inexpensive tech. The $7.99, $10.99 impulse item when you leave Staples will have a little one of these. Let me show you something. It even gets better than this. Oh, actually, let me show you something. Let me turn my background off over here. So there are some of these. You see these, and they have little headsets that go in there. Let me show. They clip right in the top here, and then you can close that. And on the bottom, you can see the charging port. So you just plug the charger right in there. This was $9.99 at Staples. It's not the Apple version, so it's not perfect, but it's a lot better. And then you plug it in, you connect it through your Bluetooth. And then you just have that and you just put that in your bag. So the other thing, if you do have auditory issues, they make amazing, I think they sell them at Costco now. Bluetooth hearing aids. They're not from your doctor, you know, like if you go to an actual audiologist, you're going like that. But there are Bluetooth hearing aids that simply are amplifiers that fit in your ear. You connect to the Bluetooth on your phone, and then you can listen to either a phone call or the radio or whatever you're doing on your phone for that matter. You can also connect those background amplifiers to any device in your house. You can connect it to your television or a radio or anything of that nature. And those are pretty easy to set up and fairly, you know, the not perfect ones that aren't molded to the shape of your ears, pretty affordable. But I also think, for example, I had I'm not sure if it was a lasers guy, a vet who was at the VA, retired person, and the VA gave them away. Like they were giving them away, the boxes, and they were easy to use. So it's something you want to check with your plan. Do you have these Bluetooth headsets if it's something you need, obviously? But they really do work and they're really easy to set up. They've come a long way. Some of them are so good that in the app on your phone, when you put the headset on, there's an equalizer. So you can say the bass goes higher, that just like, you know, on your stereo, bass, treble, mid-range, you can create an equalization that fits you. You know, was at this stage, certainly we might've all come in here with equal hearing, but now we all have our own hearing, you know, so it's something to think about. And the beauty of it is the price has come down. Next up, these two go together, and we're going to start with this. We're always going to do some telemedicine. We'll hear from the group about anybody that has any experience this month in telemedicine. So we can all get ready because you all know better than all of us about what to expect. And we'll have our Tech Jeopardy questions for prizes. Let's talk about this one. Password saverers and Apple's versus Windows. All right, so let's stop this and let's officially start the class. So here's some big news from the tech world. Are you ready? Who just can't stand passwords? Who's just over it? Would rather live under a bridge with everything stolen than have to deal with those darn passwords for another month and have to look for that and then have that terrible feeling like it was right an hour ago. And then 16 times you're typing in. Like you raised the whole family, you've managed a career at the city and a retirement, and you can't remember your password of I love Poochie 123 pound. Like, you know, and you love Poochie. You're your pal, you know, everybody knows that Poochie was your best pet ever. And yet it just can't do it. Or how many families don't talk to each other anymore when you're like, I said write down the darn password, like, you know, like all those kind of things. Or what about this? It's working fine. And then somebody calls you and said, what is that? And you're like, oh my God, I don't have the password. Well, you know, we've been talking about this for 4 years. We've been with lasers, but there is now coming a real solution, folks. So all my conversations about password lists and the way to keep those physical lists and those crazy password savers like LastPass or Password Keeper are done. So one of the big announcements at the Apple Worldwide Developers Conference, which is, if you remember, Steve Jobs was the guy that founded that. Guy walks on stage, doesn't test market anything. He says, I'm going to tell you what you need. And Apple, in the next year and a half, is going to start selling their products, iPhones, tablets, laptops, iMacs, with no passwords. You're going to have to set it up with your fingerprint or an iris or probably some other biometric that we don't know about yet. You won't be allowed. There'll be no, you can't say, I don't want to do that. No, I'm not interested. I want to put in my password. I love Poochie 123. I've been using it since I retired in 2001. It's my, I was going to say, well, then go buy a Windows computer. You know, they're going to, that's, you want to hear how rich and powerful Apple is? I was at a job and the client needs a new computer, a new Apple computer. So I said, okay, let's go to the Apple website and look for one like you're going to need. I had forgotten the developers conference was occurring. It was like a Monday at 11 in the morning. I went to the Apple website. Do you know the store was closed? When you hit buy or shop, it said Worldwide Developers Conference in process.
Wow.
Who shuts their store down during a conference and loses $500 million in those 3 hours. You know, people that didn't care or don't know about Apple Developer Conference, they're just going to click and buy. They are so powerful that during their conference, they shut their store down. No sales, no money's coming in.
Wow.
You know, their online store goes south. I was amazed by that. You know, like, just imagine that. Okay, everybody in the city, let's go for a conference. So let's just shut the phones off at Department of Water and Power, you know, for 2 hours. You know, while we talk about our next system for the next year. Yeah, for you people that worked in the Department of Prisons. Okay, we're not going to watch the doors now. We got a conference in the hallway. You know what I mean? Like, imagine the power of being able to do that. And then the rush. The beauty is when they turn the store back on 7 minutes later, everybody goes to buy the new stuff. But their newest improvement is going to be biometrics only devices. So there'll be no more of those passwords. Now, I don't know how Glaciers is going to handle that. I don't know how Blue Cross is going to handle that, but I guarantee they're going to follow. Everybody follows Apple.
A lot of places are voice recognition.
One of those, Irene, one of those biometrics will certainly be deployed. Who here likes that idea? Chime in. Who here likes that idea? Who doesn't like that idea?
I don't like it because with my federal retirement,
Mhm.
to create a new account and everything or update my account, they gave about 5 different ways that we would have to start logging in. One was the finger and one was the eye or something.
Yeah.
But
It's
when
coming.
when I called them, no one could walk me through the instructions that I could understand what they had wrote for me to do.
Miss Moore, that's why you have us.
Okay,
Did you get your T-shirt?
I did. Thank you. I love it.
All the way to finally somebody got there.
I love it.
Great. Oh, Royce, you have a question?
Yeah, well, I use the facial recognition on my phone and I love it. It's great. But what about, you know, the Dell laptop? I mean, the Dell what do you call it? Desktop. I'm going to still need passwords for that, right?
This is the beginning of something.
Yeah, so.
This is
so
the
there-
end of the payphone. Think of your
Yeah.
password as the payphone on the street with your dime. Or you can even
So,
go back.
eventually, but we're still going to be stuck with passwords for our desktop, right?
Yeah, you'll still be passwords for, but not if it was an Apple. If you bought a new Apple.
No,
there'll be no, right.
never.
But for all the
Microsoft.
other stuff, obviously there'll be an evolution away from all of that.
Yeah.
But I am
okay.
sure when they come out with this, that they're going to have ways to include all that myriad of passwords for your city card and your Blue Cross and your HOA or, you know, whatever, your church dues or whatever, like whatever monthly kind of fixed assets. I have a
Well,
feeling.
like when you sign in, let's say for Kaiser from your phone, if you've set up facial recognition, you know, you don't have to put in the password. But if you sign in on another device, you know, on a
Right.
Microsoft device, then you do.
Yeah, that's true, without a doubt. And I haven't seen the Microsoft conference yet. They can't be too far behind.
Okay.
Point
Okay.
is, it's going away, in my opinion. That whole book of scratch that where you say, you know, Pizza Hut and underneath you have 13 crossed out passwords going back, you know, the second wife, you know what I mean? Like, and you know, you're like all of those in there. And so, you know, those things are going away. That was the other thing that they have, and this is a little dark actually, but they've come out and they really pushed it. It's called Apple Safe, and it's a domestic violence app.
Oh, wow.
And they talked about it. I mean, when I say a lot, you know, they gave it an extra 30 seconds over some of the other features. And I have to explore more. I didn't explore enough about it, but it's something for you to help with those issues, I guess. I thought it was interesting that they put that on there. And the other big piece of news is that you're in Monterey now, you're heading to Ventura. Anyway, that's news from the Apple world. Who wants to share your memories the easy way? Who has a video now of that Dodgers game and you just can't get it to anyone? Or who has files they need to send for an art project? Who has data they want to do some work for somebody? This is all things that you can use in your free Google account. So let's quickly, briefly move on to how to share some documents and some photos in your Google account. If you don't have a Google account, we will need to set you up with a Google account. But this is a sort of a brief tutorial before we move on, because what using Google and its cloud and its dissemination tools does is it turns your phone or your laptop into something 20 times bigger. Imagine signing up to Google for your house, and now you have 2 extra bedrooms and an attic to store stuff. You can't see it. It's invisible, but there's a visible door, you know, behind your kitchen now, and it goes to a big basement you bought from Google, and you can put all your things in there. So that means your house has an extra 400 square feet to store all that, all the, you know, the hot Christmas supplies. That's what Google does for you. It opens up another box to store things in. Here's something else that it can help you with. This, by the way, pertains to any cloud drive, but we're going to use Google because it really is right now in our current 2022 summer, a really good tool. Is if your device goes south, if something goes wrong with it, and you don't want to fix a 2010 computer, all your data will be in Google. You can get any computer. Kids today, when I say, I don't know what that word kids today, that's like such a thing to say, but well, kids today, like Israel, don't even know like the size of a computer or what size to keep it. They have everything stored on the cloud. FYI, Apple now on their biggest computer, the iMac, which is the freestanding one, doesn't make a 27-inch one anymore. You can't buy a 27-inch Apple. They make a 24-inch, and it can only get 2 terabytes of memory max. Why? Because most people don't save their items on the physical device any longer, like your old Lenovo or your old Dell or your old HP. Things are saved in the cloud. Before I go forward, does anybody here presently use their Google Cloud or use any of the dissemination tools within Google?
So I have a question on that.
Please, I want to share while you're talking. Please go ahead, Irene.
I'm actually paying 99 cents a month for extra cloud space, so to speak, on my computer.
Okay.
And to be honest, I know I'm going to sound a little dated here, but I've never actually signed on to my iCloud, and I've never cared to, because I'm just always thinking, okay, I have space. But I mean, do we sign on to that through our email, through that?
Let me show
screen that
you.
we just have up right there, or how do I do that?
So I'm going to take you through that.
Perfect.
I'm going to leave you on the screen, or whoever wants to be on the screen. So actually, hold on a second. Let me get this better here. I want to create this so when I give you the tape, you'll be able to see it clearly. All right. So I'm going to go to my browser. Here's my messy desktop. I'm going to go to my Chrome. It could be anywhere. It could be Safari, Chrome, Microsoft Edge, Firefox. It doesn't matter. I'll go to any browser, and in the URL bar, this, by the way, you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. This, by the way, here, you know, I love this tool. Let's do the annotation tool. This area here is called the search bar. This
Okay.
is where people make mistakes. This is where people type in an item and they go, Catalina Island, thinking they're going to get Catalina Island. They hit it and they get a lot of results for Catalina Island.
Right.
But on the very top is called your URL bar. You see that? That's
Yes.
where you can go to direct address. That's where I can go to your house, 123 Main Street, Azusa, California, 12345. So here is where I can go to the top, wherever you are. I happen to be in Google, but I'm going to go google.com.
Uh-huh.
Very important. You want to go to giggle.com, and then you're in Google. Now, if you have an account, you'll have a button to the right, and it'll ask you to sign in if you're not presently signed in. And you'll simply sign in with the login email you created, which will be when you signed up. It'll say, give me some personal information, and then choose a password. Choose it. Choose it. Email name, and you'll type in IreneG@gmail.com, and it'll clearly say taken, or even Irene Garcia. I mean, that's a pretty popular name, and that will be taken. So you'll have to play with that, and you'll have to write Irene.Garcia or you know, some kind of colloquialism that applies to you.
Right.
After you get through that process and you have your email, this is what Google will look like. Now, Google's like having a portable, invisible computer. You have apps in Apple or even in your Windows computer or your phone or your smartphone. They look like these little buttons down here.
Mhm.
But the same thing inside of Google when you're signed in. There's a grid. In that grid are all these tools for you. And they all are working and they're powerful. You have Gmail, we've all have a Gmail, Google Calendar, Google Drives where you store these. Google Docs is like Microsoft Word or Pages. Google Sheets is like Excel. As a matter of fact, it's more people use it than Excel now. Your
What's it
contacts.
called? Sheet.
Google Sheets is the Google version of Microsoft Excel. We've all heard of Excel, you know, it looks sort of looks like this. Let's open up a blank spreadsheet. That's what Google Sheets is. It's just their free version of what you used to pay, or you have to pay $69 a month for Microsoft. So we're going through here. Let's go through and find an important one in here. And one is photos. So I'm going to open my Photos app. So here are my photos. I don't have a lot in here, but for example, here is, let's look here at, that's my nephew. That's my 88-year-old mom. That's my niece. That's my girlfriend. That's Kyle, Roseanne, Lila, and Francesca. So I have saved these pictures in my photos. It's as simple as going and opening your Photos app, grabbing a photo, and just dropping it in there, and it will upload that photo. So now that photo is here. It's in my Google album. Now let's say I want to send that photo that's in front of the Duomo in Milan. So let's say I want to share that with, let's pick another culprit from the crowd, Voss. I want to share this with Voss Singh, but there's 10 of them. You know, there's too much to send an email. There's going to be a little share button here. It's that weird triangle. Share. You know, it's called the share button, but come up with the word and I'll use it. It's that, you see that triangle with those 3 circles on each isosceles there?
Yes.
The share, if you highlight it, if you like put your mouse over it, your pointer, it'll say share. So we're going to go to share. Now in here, I could type in, I don't have Voss's email per se in front of me, but if I did, or Uma, if Uma's in class, I can choose Uma and I could put it in there. And then, let me move this out of the way. I could write, hi, Uma, on the very bottom. Let me get rid of this kooky thing here. On the very bottom there, I could write something about, hi, Uma. Here's the image you requested. And I'd write it on the very bottom over there, blah, 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 blah. And then I would send it to Uma. And then Uma would receive that. And she'd receive a link, a little line. And it'll say, click here. It'll say, Elijah shared a photo with you. And then she'll be able to get that photo. What really makes that interesting, you could send one photo, but let's say you have an album. I have an album here. I did some pictures for my new website. So I made an album, and that's too many pictures to send. I couldn't put all those. Let me clean this up here.
Now, will Uma get an email, or how will she
Yeah,
get that?
Uma will get an email. That's correct. Uma will get an email. It'll say Elijah has shared a photo with you.
Okay.
Or in this case is where it really makes sense. Here I have 10, 12 photos. This is way too much to send in. You couldn't put all these in just a regular email and send it to someone. But I've dropped these in my Google Photos. I've created an album. Google actually calls them a label. Once I created that album / label, then I go to share, and I could choose to, there's Crystal Baldwin. I'm going to choose Crystal. And I could say, here, Crystal, here's the 15 photos.
How many megabytes is that?
This is, hey, Peter, this is, I mean, my photos aren't small, but you can do as many as you, up to 2 terabytes you can do.
Oh, because I was sending photos through Gmail compressed, but it only can take 25 megabytes.
Unlimited. If you pay for the 2 terabyte plan, so what I'm saying, folks, it's a great question, Peter. Google comes with 15 free gigabytes of storage, which is a lot. It's
Right.
plenty to do this. But let's say I paid the $100 a year, and I have the maximum amount of 2 terabytes. That means you could send a 2 terabyte file, video. For example, at the end, do the math in your head. Let's close this for a second. To do the math, I want to stop the sharing. To do the math in your head, this video at the end of our class will be an hour and a half or so. And when I create that video, so it goes out to the world, that'll be about 75 gigabytes. Okay. So you would need what? 1,000 gigabytes to be a terabyte. So there's a lot of room, I guess the point, Peter, is in Google to handle most workmanlike affairs, you know, to get things out there across. So the steps, we'll go back to the steps are: one, you have to have a Google account. You sign in. You're going to go to the grid on the upper right. In that grid in the upper right, you're going to see several different apps. One of them is going to be called Photos. Scroll through them. You're going to open the Photos app. Then you can drag in, you can just test one, find one innocuous picture you don't mind somehow not finding again. You can drop that in there, then click that share button, type in the email of the place or person you want to send that to, type in a short message, and it's gone. And you could send a load of stuff. And that's why so much data can move around the world. If this technology wasn't available, there would be no Bitcoin or that world. That world all lives on the fact that a cloud service can hold all the data that people transmit. I'm not a Bitcoin guy, but you know, that's a whole, that's a world of everything governing itself, like in numbers, just watching the numbers. If there wasn't website data to do that, that wouldn't be available. You couldn't just do that in the First National Savings and Loan of Joplin, Missouri. You know what I mean? Like you'd have to go into the branch. It's not like the old days, you know, where it's represented by something. It's a lot of data involved there. So that same technology allows that. And that was sort of the ultimate goal of tech to begin with. How can we sell you back your junk, right? Like how can we want you to be hoarders, but how do we sell that? And they realized that if I give you the product, if I give you the kitchen device to make the food, you're going to buy a bigger refrigerator from me. So they gave you a free word processor, and they gave you a free Excel accounting sheets, and it gave you free PowerPoint and all these things. So you use up space. It's not a bad trade. It's definitely better for the environment. You know, your computers are smaller and you're lighter. Let's go on to some questions about this. Who's got some questions about this?
Can you go back to that Google thing with the
Mhm.
Gmail over on the,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, all right. So you talked about the little red widget and you talked about that
The apps.
that you click on and you have all that menu of choices,
Mm-hmm.
but you didn't talk about what images is about and what if you have that drop down menu, then why do you need that Gmail widget?
So Google just puts everything in one convenient place. So while you're working, you can get to other apps. Some people are looking at photos and they're making a spreadsheet, and then they're chatting or they've got something on YouTube. You can use it like a palette of tools. When I'm talking about images is over here, I have an image. Let's go minimize this. Over here on my computer, I have these 3 images. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are 5 images I have there. Those would be too big to send in an email. It would say file size too big, compressed. It wouldn't let me send those amount of images. What I could do though, is I could take all those images, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can drop them in my photos, which I'm going to do live. They're going into my photo. They're uploading out of my photos. Now I have those 5 new images. Then they're uploaded. I can go add to an album. I'm going to make a new album. I'm going to call this Lacer's Test Album. That album is done now. And those are the images I wanted to send to somebody here. I click that. I'm done. I go back. I can look. Okay, I can drop more pictures in there if I want. Let's put that one in there. And then I open that. And now I want to send it to Crystal for work. Okay, Crystal, here are the images. So instead of Crystal have to wait, you know, I can't send Crystal 80 gigabytes on her computer or even the city's computer. I'm now going to go here. I'm going to go search. I'm going to send it to myself in a different email address to see what it looks like. So now I've chosen myself to send these. I'm going to say over here, you're so handsome, because it's very good to build yourself up throughout the day because the world will drag you down, down, down. So I'm going to write, you're so handsome. Supposed to laugh, folks. And now I've sent myself an email. And now I'm gonna go, somebody laughed, somebody got the line. So now I'm here, I'm gonna go open my email. This is my personal email. And I'm gonna wait for that. Ooh, I got some junk. Let's see.
Now you called my questions junk.
No, I was looking at my junk, all my junk folder. I got a lot of junk in here. I'm gonna go through that in a moment. I got some creepy ones.
So you sent like 10 different things, basically
with one
boxed up,
fell
so
swoop,
to say,
exactly.
in an album, all in one album.
All in one album, exactly. So I could delineate it. If you want to talk business, you could delineate it. You could talk car accident, May 21, and you can have the 17 pictures of the bumper, of those,
Yeah.
or the water leak. If we're dealing with more practical real life matters, because that's where this stuff comes in, not just the fun family photos. You can go around your house, and this is highly suggested, by the way, highly suggested. So I live in a 2-bedroom condo, and I got some stuff I like in there, and I have homeowners insurance. You can get renter's insurance. I went around my home with my camera, if I can, with my phone, and I took a video of the different rooms, and I said, living room, stereo, TV, blah, 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 espresso machine. And I inventoried all my stuff. And then I went and I made another video, bedroom, wherever there was some stuff. And then I saved that to my Google Drive. So heaven forbid, Dorothy's tornado comes and knocks down my house in Rampart Village. Then I have documentation in the Google Cloud far away from any, damage that I could then send.
So is this kind of reminds me almost, if I'm correct, like a Dropbox type thing.
It's a Dropbox, very similar, very similar. However, Dropbox doesn't offer you emails and Google Docs and Google Sheets. Dropbox would be like a standalone service.
So are these photos virus protected, or?
Google is probably the most protected and encrypted company in the world.
No, the reason I ask, this is a new way to do it, because I attached, over 25 megabytes of photos I attached it, sending a Gmail account, and it links to Google Drive, but then it says not, virus hasn't been checked.
That wouldn't be Google, Peter. That sounds to me like there's something else on your computer being a middleman between those photos and Google. That sounds like you have some other kind of virus protection on there that pops up and says, we're going to scan and check this software for you.
Not Windows Defender, is that virus protection?
Windows Defender does that. It could be one of them. You turn that feature on, it'll scan apps that you download and it'll tell you. I don't use those because I'm very, very careful about what I download. But yes, that could be a virus protection you have in your computer, Peter.
Okay.
Let's go through some of the questions in the chat. Once the pics are in your album, can you mail the entire album? Pat, that's the point of it. That's the whole point of it. You have an album, it's heavy with a bunch of stuff, some photos, some pictures, some memories. For example, one of the things that I do is I take old videotape and I digitize it. And when I digitize it and take your old VHS and make it into a clip you can watch on the computer, it's in the Google Drive. So then you can share that memory. Hey, everybody, this was the family.
So you don't have to compress these photos?
No, there's no more compression. Google does that all for you in their cloud. You just drag and drop.
I was compressing the photos.
Yeah, all those days are coming to an end, Peter. And the reason Google's the best is because they give you all that 15 gigabytes of free storage, and they also have all those other apps. Gloria said, can I clean out my downloads besides one at a time? I can get down with that. I'm here every other Tuesday. Yes, you can, depending on the computer, when you go to a folder or file, if you're on I believe if you're on an Apple, you can hold down Windows, you hold down the little window button on your keyboard. And there's like the little symbol of the window. And then you individually click the different downloads, 1, 2, 3, and you'll see them highlighted. When those are highlighted, then you can click the trash button and or drag that group to your trash bin. If you're an Apple person, that button is called the command button. That's an interesting world too. We talk about time zones and things that separate us. Has anybody ever tried to go between an Apple keyboard and a Windows keyboard? They're different. They're different. Tell me how that makes the world a better place. You know, it's not like one is different than like in a wonderful way. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, they're different than us and it's wonderful. Let's celebrate. That's like it's different than us and I can't find the shift key now. I think that's a funny little leftover that has not changed, you know, like in through all of this stuff. Anyway, let's go through some of these questions. Rhonda Edwards, you're getting a large t-shirt for sure. We got some new ones. Okay, so we have a rest. Roy says, does one need Google Photos if all your photos are on an Apple device and paying cloud storage on Apple? You don't, however, I think it's easier. I think Google, being an intermediary, has learned how to talk to Apple people and Windows people. So the way I would manage that, because I'm on an Apple computer right now, but I have both of them. I'm another one over here. The reason, how do I phrase this, is Apple's a little more complicated. So you have your videos and you're going to send it to your old office mate, Betty Jo Coleman and Tina Reddix, and you want to send them, hey folks, I found these videos from the office party of that thing. You could go and in that one moment, take those videos and photos that you have stored safely in Apple and you have them indexed and you're very comfortable with them. And you can open your Google and drop them in and have a quick share with your two mates, your two old colleagues. It's a really simple workaround. Go on.
So you're taking, so, okay, right now, most of the photos in the last few years, I'm taking all on my phone. So they're all, you know, they're on the photo and I share them and I have albums and all of that.
Right.
It seems like this might be a good way. I have old photos on my computer and I'm going to get a new computer. So I could take those photos and back all those up on the Google photo. Is that correct?
It's very correct. And the other thing people do, and we're going to move on in a moment, the other thing people do though, is on any kind of phone, an Android or an Apple phone, you could download the Google Drive or Photos app. And through a few clicks, instead of saving your photo, like every time you snap a photo on your phone, goes to Google instead of Apple.
Oh, okay. So it's okay. So, but for now, like if I have all those albums in Apple, those are probably okay, but
those are fine. The future, and if you did have somebody that was non-Apple, you really wanted to make sure they got that important video, the how-to video. Then Google is like a really good middleman because Google, let's say it's a great LA product. So you're standing in anywhere in LA or wherever you're standing, there's 4 languages to negotiate. You know, like you can get help from somebody that speaks Armenian and Spanish and a dialect of Canton and Thai, whatever. Google, imagine Google is sort of like that. It sits in the middle and it can speak all those languages to help you get where you want to go. All right, I am now officially the CEO of Google, and they just sent me my first royalty check from pitching them so hard. And it says you now owe us $200. Okay, that doesn't work. So let's move on to another subject. This one is sort of helpful. Let's talk about PDFs. Who knows what I talk about when I say PDFs?
PDF.
Sally got her hand up. Who else knows what I talk about when they get those documents you can't fill out, you can't type in? All right, Peter knows what I'm talking about. So I'm going to share my screen. Let's do this. The first thing is, let's go and look over here. What does PDF stand for? Are you ready? Portable document format. How much sense does that make?
Oh, okay.
It's a portable document format. It's an easy format that works, again, in all those languages. You can see where tech is going, folks. It's going to be like where cars are going. It used to be really matter, like if you drove a Buick or a Chevy when you were a kid, like where I grew up in the Valley, that was important. Your car sort of represented you. And when the computers started, they represented me. You know, and the phones, what do you have in your pocket? But nobody cares anymore. It's just the content on that device. So in some ways, it's more egalitarian. We'll go back here. And I want to give you an example of a PDF. So here's a PDF. Here is, okay, here's I have got to go, let me find a good saved PDF. Oh, here, example. Here's our Lasers Tech class. So I'm in here, and let's say Crystal said, you know, I want to give Elijah some notes. I want to do this first or that second. We need to get that in. So here it is. I'm clicking, and I'm trying, and nothing's happening. There's nothing happening. When a PDF opens, it opens the same way a picture opens. It's unwritable. There is a product though, however, called Adobe.
Hi, John.
Hey Kurt, how are you?
That's
I'm
easy.
doing good. I'm very grateful to.
Okay, we were so close. I get calls sometimes the wrong numbers because of my office, and I let people talk for a minute. I had one person for 2 days. They thought that I was the assistant director of marketing at some company in Toronto. Because they said to me, I just digress, they said, oh, they called me and they said, I can't believe it. Billy canceled the meeting again. That's twice in a month. What are we going to do? And I just said, well, we have to wait for Billy. I mean, he's in charge. He said, you're right. I'll call you back. And I hung up. And then like a week later, he said, Billy did it again. He canceled it one more time, but this time he said he could do Zoom. Do you think we're gonna be able to do that? And I said, well, you know, Billy's in charge. He said, you're right. I'll get back to you. This happened 3 times. And I said, I'm sorry. I don't know you. I was just playing along. You know, it was sort of, you know, we're now Facebook friends, that person and I. But that's how dangerous this world can be, by the way. That's how easy it is to fool somebody. But let's talk about how we're going to write on a PDF, if it's something you want to do. So now I am here. I'm going to show you my desktop. I'm opening this PDF. I can't write in it, but I'm going to need to make changes next month. So I bought this product for $15 a month called Adobe Acrobat. So I'm going to take my PDF. In this case, I'm going to click a button. I'm going to open it with Adobe. Now, when I open it with Adobe, if it opens up, there it is. Let me show it to you. Let me open up that class. There's the document. I have these tools. One of them says edit. And now I could go in here and get ready. And I'm going to go 7/2022, close, and I've now edited that. So over here, I could go say, I need to sign this on the bottom. I'm going to go to edit. And then I can go right here, over here, and I could use any of the tools to add an image, add a link, sign something, just alter anything.
That seems kind of dangerous, though. What if they edit improper information and then you sign it and
If it's an IRS doc, for example, here's a perfect example. Let's go to, so that was, who said that, by the way, that dangerous?
Irene, that was me, Irene.
That was good, Irene. That was good. What did you do at the city, Irene? You always have great questions.
I could, you know, ask for a loan and change my my
If-
my
you most certainly
percentage
could. And a
rate.
matter of fact, I think we've all read about the unemployment and the pandemic relief fraud. That was so incredible, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
I could change my interest rate from 10 to 5 and then sign it and send it back.
How much do you need today to invest in that plan? I'm in.
Yeah. I was a timekeeper for LAPD my last 13 years of my career.
Okay, so now you folks, we're learning about the duality of nature. We have somebody that protected us from the fraud person, but she's coming up with some good frauds herself. So very good, Irene. It takes right. It's right. Yeah. What was that? It takes a thief, that TV show. No, but these are great
Yes.
questions. The truth is, yes, this stuff is a lot of power in the hands of. a computer.
Yeah.
It just is, like it or not. A kid could do so. But let me just give you a brief little look over here. So I'm going to go open Safari, and I'm going to go and say I need to send. Who do I want to send? Let me choose a name I haven't chosen over here. I'm going to choose Langston Black. I like that name. I'm going to send Langston Black needs to fill out a W-9. Langston's been working for me. I need to say, sorry, Mr. Black, I need a. You know-
Langston is actually our new intern.
Well, I chose you, Mr. Black. Then this is your documents to fill out for your new thing. And we'll just say Langston is there. And you got the W-9. So Langston is moonlighting with mom's computer, we'll say. And if we should be so lucky. And so I'm in here, and there's the W-9 form, sort of basic W-9 over here. And I need to download that. So I will try to save it. I will call it, how can I save? Duplicate that. And save. And I'm gonna call FW9 copy. I'll save it on my desktop. And now that's done. So we sent that to you. These docs are protected. A fancy company will protect you. So where did I put that? Let's find that my doc. Where did my W-9? doc? Just go. Let's look it up here. We'll go to recent. W-9 copy. So now I'm opening this. I'm opening this and there's nothing I can do. You see right now, there's nothing I can do. Now let's open this up with my Adobe product. Open with Adobe. Now I'm going to go to edit it. It won't let me. You see that notice? This XFA form cannot be edited using Adobe Acrobat. It will let me sign my name. You know,
Okay.
put in, Langston per se, or whatever your name is, but it's blocked by the developer. So if
Oh,
you're
okay.
lasers, if you're, and that, by the way, is a definite thing. If you're like a mortgage, like all those mortgage places, you'll notice they use something called DocuSign. You get this email, you click all that stuff. But this is most other places. Let's say it's a gym membership, then you just want to sign the PDF or read it first. The proper way to read a PDF is to pay for that Adobe Reader. But really, folks, to save that money, if you're going to do it twice a year, print the darn thing out, hand fill it in neatly, scan it, and resend it.
Yeah.
But people do. Did I get a thumbs up from Nita? Yeah. That is the affordable way. But
So what is this called again? Adobe Acrobat
Adobe
what?
Reader DC, like David Clark. DC.
Adobe Reader DC.
Yeah, and it's part of the Creative Cloud. So
And that's
Adobe,
how much a month?
I pay $14.99 for that. It's expensive. But if you are a person, we're gonna there's Langston Black. I can see an actual human now. There's videos up on Facebook. Yeah, nice to meet you. Thanks for stepping in. Oh, Miss Briscoe, nice to see you. I see you there. So getting back to the PDFs, we've been having requests and we're going to advance ourselves in classes in the next couple of months to talk about some more advanced things like online financial bookkeeping, the QuickBooks Online. We've been covering a lot of basics for a long time now. And so now we're going to start moving on to some heavier tech in the coming months by request. But for example, if you're still working at, say, your retirement, let me take a step back. Now, when people pitch you over 55, their way to wrangle you as a customer, I know because I read all the white sheets on that, is that you, Simbre, are not just a retiree with your pension and maybe Social Security. You're a business now. You have an income.
I'm a business.
You're a business.
Listen to that, Carmen. Now she knows she.
I always want to hear what Carmen says.
You know what? Okay, hey, I'm sorry. I didn't know I wasn't on mute. I'm back on the ship, and my girlfriend who's with me, who is also a retired senior, that was her responding to Elijah's comment. So I'm going to mute myself.
What did I say? I don't even know what I said exactly. I'm on a roll here.
That seniors are now a business. We're not
Seniors are
just
now
retired. We
not like a
don't have-
business. That's right. Not like a business where my business is. I made a business about seniors, Mom's Computer Tech Care for Seniors and Adult Learners. But the concept I'm trying to say is that you're a business. You have an income, and that income, I'm just going to pretend like I know you. You have a retirement, and then maybe Social Security, and then maybe you have a rental property, or maybe something's coming your way from your partner, or maybe you still work a little bit. Maybe 3 times a year around Christmas, you do some work. Maybe you babysit. Maybe it's more advanced than that. Maybe you're still doing accounting or bookkeeping for people. Your income world is considered an income and an outflow. So you have income and expenses, just like a small business. You now don't have a department looking over you, like the daily part. You have lacers, but your everyday business is yours to manage, right? You wake up in the morning. It's your job to look at that. And it's sort of the future of home online. I'm really excited about this one on home online financing, is to keep all that in one place. How that sort of comes into this is that's what you are. The world looks at you as a consumer. You're now not the city developer at Department X in San Pedro. You're a consumer. You're a senior consumer. That's the box you're in, like it or not. So your job is to say to yourself, yes, and that business is going to get the best product and the best deal I can get from anything. It's you're on equal footing with your vendors. It's you. And so we're going to talk about that more, because QuickBooks Online has been, I'm surprised it was asked for, but it's really powerful. So if you're still doing things like that, that's when you would deploy Adobe, Peter. If I employed Adobe, because I have one particular client that I use it for and I need it for. And so I can discount that $150 a year from the income I get from that particular job, if that makes sense. So if there's a part of your life, of your income that you need that, or if you share it with someone, then perhaps it becomes more convenient. But they are very sticky, like PDFs are hard to fill out. Any more PDF questions before we move on? Because the pizzas are, the Thai food is almost here. I just got my pad Thai, so it's delicious. I hope you got yours. They forgot my chopsticks though. What happened? Simbre, I said chopsticks and I wanted extra chili. So let's move on to stuff. Anybody got any PDF questions? It's a boring one, but it will be that 1 a.m. issue when you're just ready to go and be happy, and a PDF will pop up and you can't fill it out. It'll be like, and that's where you contact me. Let's see, are there any notes in here? How do you create a PDF document? Who wants to know how to create a PDF? This is a great question. Okay, we got one lonely hand up. Dorla's on my team. So it's pretty simple. I'm going to go to Word, in my case, Microsoft Word. I'm going to make a new document. I'm going to make a bold here, 20. I'm going to call this document.
You can print a PDF.
Very good, Peter. How to make a PDF. So I'm now going to make, that's my document. It's a letter. I'm going to go to File, Save As. How to make a PDF. On the very bottom here, it says File Format. I'm going to choose PDF. I'm going to save that to my desktop. I'm going to export it. That is done. That will now, I don't need to save that word. That will now open up somewhere on my desktop as a PDF, if I could find it on here somewhere. Anyway, it's on here. So how to make a PDF right here. As you can see, I can't change it now. I can't alter it in any way. You know, I can't, no matter what I do, I would have to open it up at this point in that Adobe product.
That's actually pretty easy.
It's super easy. And by the way, it's better for you to send that PDF. So say you're sending it out to your HOA and you don't want somebody to alter that, you know, like Irene was saying. Like when Crystal and I communicate, or the city, I use Crystal as an example just for the city, I never want to send a Word document because I want what I say to be sort of written in stone. This is what I promise. This is what I, so on and so forth. And it's unalterable. The other thing about a PDF is if you do hack it or alter it, it'll show a timestamp. So let's say you go to court, counselors in the room, Carmen, I know you're here, Hazel's here. We have some attorneys here. A PDF is timestamped. So you'll be able to go back in that timestamp and say, Hazel will say, yeah, well, it didn't say that on August 16th. What alterations? We want the timestamp from Microsoft Word. And then
So then you're busted for lowering that interest rate loan, right?
Yeah, but if you get away for 10 years and pay it off, I don't think they'll care anymore. Yeah, no, but it's so true. But can you imagine that tool back when we were getting bad report cards in 1960? Like that was when you wanted to use it. So who dreaded that C, or even worse, like we all, I was a cut up. And you just imagine the hackable stuff you could get in and alter and change. Now, I know there was a famous story of who remember, and this story was fascinating to me, David Geffen, the talent agent, like the big LA talent agent, David Geffen, DreamWorks, that movie. His story was he wasn't a great student and he got his first job at like the William Morris agency or something like that, one of those, Hollywood agencies. In order to get the job, you had to have a college degree and some credentials. So on his application, he said everything, was kosher, he did everything was right. And then it took time. They knew that they hired him. This was 1968. It wasn't like it is now. They didn't have the ability to check on the spot. They said, you're hired. He made sure he got the job in the mailroom. So he waited for the letter to come from wherever he said he graduated from, UCLA or whatever he lied about. And he snatched that letter, replaced it with a phony, degree that he got made in like downtown LA somewhere. He tells the story and then he passed that on to human resources and they're like, stamp. Next thing you know, the richest agent in the world. So imagine doing that, like how easy that is now.
Yeah.
Imagine how much disinformation is coming your way just because of that. Imagine I could do that same junk on an email. I can get an email and I could screw it around just like that and change one word at the bottom.
Yeah.
Right? So that's that.